Great stuff. So, without further ado, put your hands together for a Newcastle legend and a Peruvian legend, Nobby Solano. Drop back. Nobby, welcome to Laurel's in Whitley Bay. What do you think of the place?
Oh, very tight.
Good to see you. Right, this is a very casual night tonight. The first 45 minutes, we're just going to have a little bit of crack. Me and Nobby have done quite a few of these over the years, so we're going to have a little bit of crack about his early career and arriving at Newcastle and all of that. The second half, we'd like to leave it to you guys, and we really want you to ask the questions. So you've got 45 minutes plus that little bit of an interval to think of any question you want to ask Nobby. Could be about his career, could be about what's going on at Newcastle now, anything you want. Nights out at Julie's, you might have met him, I don't know. But
No trouble.
well, that's the way the show goes. So it's dead casual, and again, you know, from our perspective, just enjoy your night. But Nobby, let's go back in the beginning. Let's go back to Peru. How did you first take up the wonderful game of football?
Well, first of all, thank you very much for the opportunity to be here. Always it's nice to back into, always call my second home. Always say to many people, I'm born in Peru, but I spent all my career here. It's always very, very nice people. I never realized how much passion for football in here, but I really enjoyed my times in here. So well, I'm starting in Peru when I was, I joined to one of the big clubs in Peru. It's called Alianza Lima. I went there when I was 11 years old, and after been doing my career, I went on trial. My dad used to be working in the Navy. We're a big family, seven brothers. I'm 5 brothers and 2 sisters. I'm the last one with 7. So, well, my dad found out in the street, many friends talking about myself. They said, listen, your son play football, it's very good, blah, blah, blah. My dad never was available to see me to play. So one day he met one of the famous footballers in Peru, and they met in the town and said, listen, I got a son. All my friends say he's very good. I never saw him. Please give me a chance, opportunity. So this guy used to play for Alianza Lima back in the time. Used to play for the national team too in Peru in the 80s, back in the 80s. And so, well, I went there to the club. I went on trial. So in the time the manager saw me and said, okay, you need to come back next week. So that's why my opportunity. He saw me play the first time and say, you need to come back until and sign for the club.
What position were you playing then, Nobby?
Don't laugh, please. Centre back. Come on, please. It's unbelievable because what happened back in the time, the manager, he had a very good team in the same, when I was under 11, we have a very good team. So I have enough space I told my boss to say, I play a right winger. I want to play a right winger. I say, listen, no space here. You couldn't play center back? Well, I want to play football. I said, no problem. I can play center back. So I used to play a libero. At that time, we used to play 4 line and used to play a libero back and center back. But the manager saw my quality already. He said, as the keeper, always play the ball into you, like it happened now in the football. Don't go direct like when I moved to here a long time ago. So you're allowed to play the ball in the feet. So well, I was available to get the ball, bringing the ball from the back into the midfielders, into the strikers. So well, starting there until when I moved, when I was 14, 15, we have the first call to say tournament, the organized tournament, because we had to have a selection to be in the national team under 17s. So my boss moved me to the right back, because everybody started to grow up, I'm still in the same side. So I have no chances to play carry on to play center back, so I moved the right back, so I was to start to play right back. I've been called in the national team, I played tournament under 17s as a right back, so yes, I started my career as a right back in Peru. After being in this club Alianza Lima, my first signing was when I was 17. the club called Sporting Cristal, where I spent another 5 years as a professional. I won the league 3 times in a row, and we became second in the tournament called Copa Libertadores, like a Champions League here in Europe. So we have I'm enjoying. I was so proud, so pleased to have my debut when I was 17 years old.
So who were your heroes as a young boy growing up? I mean, we hear a lot of stories from foreign imports who come over to Newcastle about maybe watching the FA Cup final and having big English players. But who were your heroes?
Well, back in the years, for us, I'm growing up with the idol. My dad always talking about Pele, because I couldn't have a chance to watch him because, well, no television first of all, and it was quite old football time. But we growing up with the face of Maradona in the 80s, 81, 82. Maradona was the guy became very famous around South America, around the world. So was to me was one of the idols. We used to have a good players in Peru, and I don't mention the name because people probably will know here, at least any Peruvian around here. But we always have that reference, like it happened with this year with Messi and Ronaldo. Back in the years was Maradona.
So you have success in Peru. Where next for the young Nobby Solano?
I always have a dream to play in Europe. Always have a dream to play in Europe. I always say, first of all, I want to make, my first dream was when I was young, play for professional football. So, and I've achieved, I was very pleased, very lucky to achieve to make us when I was 17. And after that, my second ambition was to get into the national team. So I was called in the national team when I was 18. In the first team, national team, because I used to be in the under 17s, under 20s, under 23s. What used to be a tournament called under 23 when we was only 19, 20 years old. But I made my debut when the national team when I was as a professional. That was my dream. So after that, I say, well, play for your country. The best thing can happen. Okay, you play on a level as a youth team, but when you play as a professional, that was for me the best thing happened in my career. And after that, my dream, any South American player always wish and dream to move to Europe. For me, it was strange back in the time. It was not too much mention about England. I remember I got a brother. There was one of the 4 or the 5th in the family. He always supported Liverpool. He's now, how old is he? I'm 48, 49. He will be 55, 56. He always support Liverpool because, first of all, like the Beatles, and they always follow that. He knew Liverpool was dominating the Champions League back in the years. And when my agent called me, said, "Listen, there's a mention about to move to Europe, want to move to England." I said, "Oh," but before that, I had to move first to Argentina. I got the opportunity to move to Argentina, one of the big leagues in South America, and meet my idol I never saw in my life.
So Boca Juniors is the club that you go to next, and I mean we see a lot of coverage on TV, in Europe, watching the games. Are they as mad in real life playing in front of those crowds?
He was a wonderful person. Like I said to you, well, my first dream is as a South American player, especially Peruvian player, so from Ecuador, Colombia, to move to Argentina or Brazil is one of the best achieved. You want to, as a dream, to play one of the best leagues in South America. It's like here for European players to move to Italy, Spain, Germany, or here in England. So I got the opportunity. My agent called me, "Listen, you want to play for Boca Juniors, one of the best clubs?" Oh my God, I couldn't believe. I said to my agent, "Please show me the ticket or show me the conversation you have with the president is true." So, he told me, "Listen, you have to carry on your tournament with Peru, and the international tournament you have to finish, and after you will move to Boca Juniors." Plus, at the same time, I heard Maradona will play with us. Couldn't believe that. So it was the best day in my life when I had to meet him.
And the fans are fanatical.
Whoa, passion, crazy, my friend. You're too good, guys. You are too good. Believe me, you are too nice, too polite. You like this. You watch the football in Argentina, you have in trouble with people. If you losing again, somebody will grab you. Well, no, it was amazing. It was amazing. It's another experience. I was very lucky to play in the passion Argentinian football. I know you know, to please with Argentina, especially after 86, what happened in 86 with Maradona, my friend. Just a hand. But no, I mean, it's one of the best league. You can grow up, you can understand the football. I said to you, the passion over there it was sometimes too far. I will say the way you're watching the football in this last 20, 25, 30 years in here is the best example. You should be around the world. No fight, no kill people because you don't like it or you are support somebody else. But it was a great experience. Before I moved to here, that's why I'm saying people all the time say to play for me in Newcastle and here in England is like playing in the theater. It's too nice.
So we've established Maradona was your idol. What were you like on that first meeting with Maradona?
Well, it was exciting, like any young boy maybe expecting we'll see Messi, we'll see somebody like Ronaldo. To me, back in the years, I couldn't believe he would be my teammate. So, well, I was very lucky, very proud to spend with him. Only shame because only 5 months. I catch him in the last period of his career, who wasn't the same player I wished to see when he used to play for Napoli in the 90s, 85 of course because of the age. But was, first of all, an amazing person, a great man. It's a shame not here with us anymore, but it was my best day happened in my career.
Did you have a little bit of time to train with him and
yeah, of course,
learn stuff from him?
Yeah, we used to practice together because we on charge of set pieces. So I had to, get to the master at the time to see him what he doing when he left foot. I'm a right foot, but yes, I get a little bit tips what he doing. But it was amazing, lovely person, lovely, great human man. It's just like share everything. A little bit crazy, but he was a wonderful person.
Did he allow you to take free kicks in the game?
Well, I had to ask how he feeling. I was quite lucky because he's no hand in the game for 90 minutes. So when he's out after 65 minutes, I won't charge.
And he gave you a nickname.
I was, like I said, he was quite impressed when we have the first training session and we have the debut 3 days later. We play against Argentina Juniors. So we start to practice in free kicks. And he was quite looking to me and said, where you came from? He said to me, I'm from Peru, Diego. So he was quite impressed. So after the match, we won 4-2. He said, have the best compliments to myself. He spoke about, because the media is asking about, what do you think about the new player from Peru? We're next to the little master here, blah, blah, blah. So I was over the moon.
Big question I think everybody in Whitley Bay wants to know tonight is, did you ever have a night out with Maradona?
I wish. Never happened. Never happened, Shane.
You probably would have still been out now.
Ooh. Heavyweight. Heavyweight.
There's no doubt about it. Did you win anything at Boca Juniors?
Well, my first season, we spelled in 2 seasons. It's quite crazy. Different like compared in England. You play from September down to May or whole season. We go to two competitions. You play from July to December, and after January to June. So you have 2 tournaments. It's called Apertura and Clausura. We was very close to win the league, but we play River Plate, our big rival in the time, and it's a big derby in Argentina. So we didn't win the league because 1 point we lose a game, so we became second. And the next season, we didn't do so well. We finished 3, 4, I believe, and now have the opportunity to move to here to England.
Yeah, so the dream of a move to Europe is now a reality.
Another thing, when my agent started to tell me, listen, it's maybe Arsenal, maybe Newcastle, interested in yourself. And I said, oh my God, please don't say to me anything until, if it's true, just let me know, but don't speak to me before anything. So it was amazing when they start to mention to me about England. The first thing, I start to follow a little bit the teams, because in South America I start to watching the match live around 90, 98, 96, 95. Start to put on every Premier League, the more important games, every weekend in the Peruvian channel, South American channels. So we start to become very famous, the Premier League. So yeah, start to follow a little bit when my agent told me about Newcastle. I was lucky because in the time Newcastle started to play Champions League. So I was be available to watching a little bit the team. Of course, Asprilla, the crazy man, he used to play for the team. So I knew him because we played in the national team Peru against Colombia. So he was a wonderful player. So that started to go a little bit interesting. So when my agent told me, I said, please just get me there because I want to be there. So it was an amazing day.
Can you remember your first day in Newcastle? What did you think of the place as you arrived?
Well, I don't know if people have been in Peru before or saw something like that. We don't have too much trees. Too green. It's too green in England. Very green everywhere you were. Oh my God, these people. Wow, rain and green. So we in Peru, quite desert, a lot of mountains, but very impressive here. First of all, how you drive on the right side with the right wheel. So it was quite strange to me, when you want to cross the road to say, well, which way go, left or right, which car will come. But it was amazing because when I moved to here, the first time when we started playing, the training ground was in the Chelsea Street. So it was a cricket club around there. So, but the fields, that's the best thing when I touch it. I thought it was unreal when I saw how green it is. I touching like that, the player was stretching. I said, "Oh, is it real or what?" I was over the moon. Say, "Wow, that's different world, different. That's the football." Even when I was playing Argentina, but the fields compared to how it was here in England, even in the training ground, was wow to me. The best impression I have. Plus, I arrived in the training ground. Couldn't understand anyone. Too much French, English, and Jordi.
The press conference is a story which we like to talk about a little bit. In the old days, when a player signed for Newcastle, you used to have the chairman, you'd have the manager, you'd have the player, and in your case, you'd have a translator.
Yes, it's quite. I told you before, it's quite funny because couldn't speak any English, zero. Only word I can say, only word. But I have an English translator, and I spoke to, only met her the same day. We have all the media like you guys here sitting like that, all the press conference. So the guys start asking questions, and I got my translator on the side, and start to look into her, and she start to look into me, and he started speaking in Italian. She started to blah, blah, blah. Sorry, I'm speaking Spanish, not Italian. It was only 30 seconds the press conference. I couldn't understand anything. No translator, no one.
And if that wasn't bad enough, you had Kenny Dalglish as a manager.
Oh my God.
How did you ever understand a word he said?
Terry Mack. All the best.
But you had Kenny as a manager, and unfortunately for you, I mean, he's not a fan's favourite, certainly not. He was always he's always on a hiding to nothing. He was following Kevin Keegan. Nobody could have ever done what Kevin had done at the club. But Kenny wasn't there very long, was he?
Yeah, shame, because I always pleased to him when I got the opportunity to see him before. Say thank you to bring me to one of the best leagues in the world. And it's a shame, like you say, he's signing me after 4 weeks later, 3 weeks later, he got sacked. So never spent much time with him, but it's a shame. He was sacked until Rogoli arrived.
And just going to touch on your debut, because again, this is probably unheard of. It's certainly unheard of now, but a player signing for the club and having his debut at the stadium at St James's Park.
That's another strange and crazy thing who happened to me. I never realized, okay, couldn't understand anybody in the time. They said to me 2 weeks later, 3 weeks later, a guy used to play in the reserve team, used to be in the same hotel I used to stop before I found the place to live. And the first 2-3 months I used to live in the hotel. So they told me, no, only I can understand when he said, okay. So but I thought we will go to training ground to play with the reserve team. He said, you need to play with the reserve team because the manager, okay. When the guy started to drive, and when I saw the huge stadium, St. James, I said, wow. I said, I thought the guy would pick up some boots, something from here. I thought we're going to go to the training ground. So I started to follow him. I was quite surprised. We went to the dress room, get changed. I said, what's going on here? It's a team picture, something like that. So never a big surprise because I had to come out, warm up. I'm bloody people. Wow. They tried to say, well, back in the time after many years, find out, the people come for you. Oh my God. Thank you very much.
Yeah, we found out, didn't we, last week, there was a guy there who was a statistician, and he basically said it was Stockport County who you made your debut against in the reserves.
Yes.
And Newcastle, what they did was, because you were the first Peruvian to play in the Premier League, they allowed all season ticket holders to come for free. So there was 8,500 there for a reserve game at St James's Park to see you there, and you managed to score as well.
Well, I didn't realize, if I knew that would be a lot of pressure for me.
Yeah.
I thought it's a normal game for, I don't know, with somebody else. But no, straight away you can see, I can smell how football, to be honest, because during the day in this city is very quiet, not many people you see around, but before the matches, when we start to, people start to planning to go on the Saturday and the weekend to watch the team, to me it was, oh my God, I say, wow, where the people came from? I don't see people in the town, I don't see people, it's so quiet here.
Yeah.
But it was amazing. It was amazing how much you love football. So that's why every weekend I'm really, really enjoy to play in St. James Park.
You had a struggle with the translator, but you also had a struggle in the changing rooms on one of your first days at Chestler Street. Tell us about that.
Well, people I think it's in South America, we still a little, in that time, back in the years, we're a little bit behind the Europe and the technology of things like that. So I said to Steve, my first day in the training ground, couldn't speak the language, and I was just waiting as a normal, a little bit shy. I don't know anyone in the team, so just letting to people talk in many languages around, blah, blah. So just waiting for everybody to finish the shower so I can go in the shower. So people talking around, and finally there was the last guy, was Alexandro Pistone. I don't know if people will remember him. So,
for the wrong reasons.
He liked him in the shower, long hair, things, like a woman, Spent a long time in the shower. So what was curious for me was because we have the shower, place the shower like that, something like that. And then, you got the thing when the water come up. But you here in this country, back in the years, I didn't realize, I never find the bloody, how you got the taps. The left and right, left is hot and the right is cold. So I was in the shower, and the last guy was Pistone. But next to we have the shower in here, and the next room was the bathroom when you can whatever you're gonna do. So this guy used to go there, and he was the last guy. Went there, went back to the dress room, getting changed, and I said, okay, I'll go to the shower. I went to the shower and just only found the pot where the water come, the things. But no bloody tap. I said, where the water came from? I'm looking around like that, so only the things. Start to clapping like that. Something like that. So I went to when people have a things like that, maybe from there's the top and the water will come. Nothing like that. Take it half an hour, looking around. Please come on, shower. What is the bloody tap in here? I didn't realize, guys, was in the floor. I thought it's part of the model of the shower, because you go all there, but it was a black thing in there. you know, all around there, all the showers and like that. But I didn't realize you have to push there and the water will come like that. So take me 2 hours to fucking have a shower.
Classic. Which players made you feel welcome when you arrived at the club?
To be honest, even not speaking the language, always, God bless him, but Gary Speed, Alan, Stevie Harper, Shea Given, the local boys, been in the club for already 2, 3 years, 4 years. So he's the guy. I remember Gary tried to speak to me back in the time, but it was quite tough, difficult. But you don't need to sometimes speak the language when somebody show you, you know, your friendship, your things like that. It's very good. But like I said, I'm adapting so quick because I will always say the football is only one language. You play football in the same place, you can play in Africa and whatever in the same way. Football is only one language. So it didn't take me so long to get on with the players. I couldn't understand much back in the years, but just laugh. If somebody laugh, I laugh. If somebody be serious, just be serious. I don't know who's talking about me. I don't care. But we get on very well.
It didn't take you long to find out about the nightlife in Newcastle. Either you had a particular session.
I got my divorce.
Yeah. Yeah, you had a particular session with Steve Howie and Duncan Ferguson. Heavyweight.
Yeah, yes. As I said to Steve, my first, after I've been in the club for 2-3 months, still not dominate the language, not speak much. But at one point back in the years, we used to have not like you see now the boys have so many big stuff, you know, physios, things like that. And back in the years, only 2 physios, and the physio had to travel with the team. And that moment was Stevie Howen and Duncan Ferguson and myself. We was injured. We didn't travel. So what happened is we trained on the Friday and the last day, and we need to see again the team when they back after the match on the Monday again. So we know people can look after us. So Friday was like the team has to travel to play away, so they left in the coach by 11:30, 12 o'clock. So Duncan Ferguson and Stevie Howen talking, Scottish and Geordie, something like that. They only understood to say, Nobby. Okay, man. Where is? So I remember we left the training ground. We went to town. We went to Pitcher and Piano. That was the place. So we left the cars in there, and the good thing they said straight away, Nobby, no drive. Okay, leave my car. So we left the car there, and we went to Pitcher and Piano. He ordered the pints. I will tell you guys, in Peru we're not drinking like that pints, only small glasses. And we have a bottle, like a little bottle. If you drink it with your friend, you put in the little glass, whatever, how much you want, and pass the bottle. And after, when I finish, you carry on. If you depends how many we are. Different culture in here, you know. You go. This guy have a pint, so in 3 seconds, empty. And they say, come. Okay, then. Sorry. That's my first word in English. So this guy started to, at the same time, buy another pint and say, relax, guys. It's no race. It's a marathon. We need to be. So what happened? We started in the Pitcher and Piano, have a few pints, and after we was moving around Newcastle in Quayside. So in about 1:30, 2:30, you know, still with the guys. So at one point we stopped in one of the bars, and the guy bought a Jack Daniels whiskey with the bucket of ice. They put all the Jack Daniels in there. They asking for 2 straws. I start to drink like that. I'm not drinking whiskey. I said, no, it's too strong for me. But I carry on with my beer. We already the pints. We have 7 pints. It only was 2:30, 3:30. So we left this bar around 3:30, 4 o'clock. After that, the guys finished up whiskey, and after I called my ex-wife. It was 4 o'clock. Just crying, apologize. Sorry, so late. I was really, really drunk. Said sorry. Forgive me. I should be early in the house. And my ex-wife said, what are you fucking talking about? It's 4:30. What happened is, guys, I never realized in this country, about 3:30 or 4 o'clock in the afternoon, it get dark. I thought it was 4 in the morning. Don't be stupid, take a taxi. It was heavy day.
So Kenny Dalglish has gone. Ruud Gullit comes in. He promises sexy football. I always ask you this question, but I mean, you know, we hear lots of rumours and stories. It still happens today from the training ground. But what was Ruud Gullit really like as a manager? Did he really sit in a deck chair at side and watch the lads play? What was he like?
What we learn in this game is you need to have experience in the way when you finish football, you cannot straight away crash or join to be a coach, things like that. Because your ego, whatever you feel in the way you feeling, you need to have a little bit experience, at least couple years before you join, if you want to carry on this career. Ruud Gullit, unfortunately for him, he was in Chelsea, coach only a year, and after that, joined to Newcastle with difficult time because it was a lot of ex-players, you know, a lot of quite the group of the team was a little bit older, a lot of older players like John Barnes, Stuart Pearce, Philip Albert. Robert Lee wasn't that old enough, but still cannot manage the team. So he made difficult decision to have to leave it out. So as a man manager, struggle because they don't have enough experience to deal with this guy. So it was difficult time. It's difficult for me too because when you join to the team, when Kenny was sacked, now him has to deal with a lot of difficult situation because we players, as even you young lad at the time, you watch how they treatment to the experienced players. He didn't manage. Man manager wasn't the best, so everybody's scared. That's why he didn't have a successful time here.
And you know, the likes of Alan Shearer and Rob Lee, you know, didn't really get on with Ruud Gullit.
Well, straight away, you know, is how. That's why when I say about the experience as a man manager, how we fell out with Alan Shearer. He one of the guys who scored goals for the team, the top scorer, and the time back in the year, Alan was only 20. I'm arriving here when I was 21, 22. He was only 26, 27. Still, he can produce for the team, but he started to fall out. I remember pre-season we went somewhere else in Germany. He has a very bad argument with him. So the only answer with Ruud Gullit was no experience enough to be as a man manager.
Despite all of that, we still got to an FA Cup final that year. But focus just on the semi-final for a second. What was it like for you just seeing Old Trafford, a sea of black and white, and what did it feel like to finally get to a cup final?
It's a great experience. I never saw how important was the FA Cup. We was playing round by round, like I said before, and we still qualify to the round, and the people get exciting. Even the bloody neighbors knocking my door to say, "You have a tickets." I don't sell tickets. I play football, but I didn't realize how much is for people FA Cup. So this tournament, so we start to get on in the tournament. We were so pleased, so happy. How exciting was the town? People looking forward. I understand desperate for the trophy. So we was looking forward to wish to you back as how much you support the team. All the time Alan mentioned things like that. To say, come on guys, we need to do it. But it's a shame because we play the best Man United team.
Yeah, I mean, 2 years in a row, 2 cup finals, and you know, playing the team, chasing the treble, and you know, the double. It was unfortunate. But why do you think we lost that final? He played a few players out of position.
I'm saying after many years, back in the year, I believe Ruud Gullit, just the experience we're talking about, he never set the team to we want to play the best Man United, so we should be set the team better, the tactical way, whatever it. I remember playing the left winger. We play 4-4-2. I played the left winger. Robert Lee played the right winger. When Robert Lee used to be the sit player from the back four, played Didi Hamann and Gary Speed. So it looked like, to be honest, already the atmosphere inside the dressing room wasn't the best.
Ruud Gullit didn't last long either, because he made the most craziest decision the managers probably
exactly made. How you put Alan Shearer and Duncan Ferguson on the bench
against the Macams?
Against the Macams. Are you crazy? We couldn't understand. When we was in the stadium, he put the team, the first 11. I said to, I can't remember who was next to me, but I said, he's bloody drunk. I didn't see Alan Shearer there, I'm Duncan Ferguson, he must be bloody drunk. Oh, well. I rained there in bad day, very bad day.
We lost the game. Who got to the manager's office first the next day? Alan Shearer or Duncan Ferguson?
I think both.
So he goes. Who's next in the managerial hot seat?
Well, good for the club. Good decision for Shepherd to bring Sir Bobby Robson. That's the best decision he make, and we all looking forward. I'm very pleased to see this old guy with all the experience he has in the world.
And his effect on that team and that dressing room was immediate. We go and lose our first game to Chelsea, but the home game against Sheffield Wednesday, we scored 8 goals and Alan got 5.
Great debut. That you can tell Alan was happy with Ruud Gullit. So now Bobby was the perfect manager, arrived in the right time into the club. So that's the reason we start to push him. We're moving forward slowly, season by season, to get into the top 4. So he did a great job. I believe he was the right guy to pull everybody together, want everybody working together all the time, no stop guys to talking about yours. Fans, how much football, the passion in this city. Every time, every single team talk is always mentioned. He was right. He's a guy, we need to give everything and you will have a good response for the fans. And he did.
Similar to managers who've had success, even if they haven't won trophies, Joe Harvey, Kevin Keegan, Sir Bobby Robson, and now Eddie Howe, all get the fans on side. It does have that effect, doesn't it? The fans are like a 12th man at the stadium.
Of course. Yes, I tell you, as always, personal, always feeling you feel so comfortable when you play at home, especially with all the support, the people, on your side. It's like you say, it's true. It's feel like you have an extra player. So that's, I believe now Newcastle doing so well because the player feeling like that.
We hear lots of stories about Sir Bobby, forgetting names and stuff like that. Have you got any funny stories about Sir Bobby?
Well, Bobby, that's why we say it's a shame, because if we have him maybe 5 years younger than he was, he would be probably still with that same energy. But he used to call us to go to the stadium. We play 3 o'clock, he used to call us to be 11 o'clock. And after an hour later, he fast asleep. Some food, he was sitting in that, was like, poor man, he used to wake up maybe 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock in the morning, cannot handle. But he was very good. He was, like I say, he was always funny guy. He set the team already. Sometimes he's a player, He just start to talking. Gaffer, we play today with 10 men. Start to look at him. No, just try to make sure you be alive. Clever man.
There was a shower story. Do you want to tell that one tonight?
Oh.
You like the shower stories, don't you?
I said, Lua, you will remember Lua. Great lad. I know he's a funny guy. No, we used to share, of course, the first team and the coach staff shower is closer, face to face. So I can't remember. Lua was shouting and was having a shower, having the soap called Dove, white one, start to like that, and Bobby just passes on him. Son, relax, it won't come off. Racist man. We have a good time. You get away from that.
You got away with it. We've spoken about this before, but lots made about Bellamy and Dyer. The younger players. Was there a bit of disrespect from them? Do you think towards Bobby? Was it just a new breed of footballer?
Well, if you tied with Kieron, was a special guy. If I love and enjoy to play with him, he was always I always wishing, I tell you, to have him in the pitch because we link him very well. We play. He got pace. When he was in form, he was amazing player. Yeah, sometimes Bobby has to handle these egos. Young lads with so much money in the pocket. Sometimes they think they are the best in the world, but. A couple of times, even Alan used to be the captain, has to get on in all these situations to try to sort it out. But Bobby, as intelligent, experienced man, he could manage in that situations many times.
Yeah. The departure of Sir Bobby was a bit of a shock to us. I mean, I remember back in those days, some fans were calling for his head. But, football happens. We were talking about this before, about Eddie Howe. This season's been great, but next season could be completely different. We don't know. But Sir Bobby leaves the club. Who's next?
Well, when Bobby, I wasn't here. Remember, I left the club. Because
Why did you
I went to Aston Villa, yeah. The only reason because Bobby started to signing Lee Bowyer.
Yeah.
He brought him to the club in that season. Start to play him a lot. So you need to accept him as a normal professional player. You need to accept him. Also, was quite strange to me because even Lee Bowyer didn't like to play much in the right winger. And but I spoke to Bobby. I said, Bobby, you changed a little bit. Do not give me any more. Not starting much of the matches. Say all the time, no, don't worry. It's a lot of games. It's a long season, blah, blah, blah. So I never feel again the same. He started not playing much football. So before December, it's still the same the situation. I say, I have a lot of respect for people, especially for him. I don't want to fall out with him. I'm not going to give any bad words. Say, Bobby, I will leave because I feel in the same situation. You hasn't changed to me, so I want to move. Don't worry, no, relax. Well, I spoke to my agent, I spoke to Shepherd at the time, and they let me go. So I went to Aston Villa. I didn't want to leave the club, but I want to play football. I was only 28, so I want to enjoy it, carry on. I feel I can play football, so I went to Villa. I have a great time in Villa. But always my feeling was to come back to here, to the club. I never want to leave the club. So it's a shame because the time Bobby Robson was sacked too as well from the club until Grace soon arrived.
Yeah. You did come back, didn't you, that season that you were away, and you saw probably one of the most embarrassing incidents that has ever happened at St James's Park. You were sitting on the bench.
The Kangaroos.
Yeah.
Kangaroos.
What did you make of that Lee Bowyer Dyer fight?
Well, it was quite funny because I was sitting in Aston Villa. Honestly, I have a jet lag. I was traveling from Peru because I was having international match. We play on the Wednesday, qualified games. I spoke to David Leary to say, Nobby, you fly directly to Newcastle. No point to you coming to Birmingham to go there. I meet you in the hotel. Right, I went flying back to here, to Newcastle. And David Leary said, you won't start because you come in 12-hour flight, still 5-6 hours behind. So I was sitting in Villa bench, and when the thing started to happen because what I saw is Lee Bowyer with Kieron started when the ball was on the other side, they start to argue. I know Kieron like to argue. So they still like that, and they ended up fighting together. So what's going on here? So first I was embarrassed, for football. But honestly, I come back to the club 5 months later and they're still the best friends. Play cards together.
You came back to the club and your contact was still there with the club, wasn't it? Alan Shearer was in contact with you all of the time. So Bobby goes, Graham Souness comes in, and transfer window is open. Newcastle signed Michael Owen. We all hope that's going to be the greatest signing since Alan Shearer. But on the same day, the club opened the ground. There's thousands of people standing there greeting Michael Owen, and everyone singing the Nobby Solano song because it's a breaking news story on Sky News that there's a potential that you might be coming back. How did that feel for you sitting watching that?
To be honest, very proud. Like I say all the time, when I was talking to Alan, the previous Stevie Harper, Shay, say Nobby, you were back. We spoke to Graham Souness, especially Alan. Speak to Graham Souness. So I remember it was the last day of the you can sign in players, and driving crazy from Birmingham to. I got so many tickets in the car already. But I had to drive it to get had to do medical again, things like that. So I was over the moon. I was so pleased, so proud. People told me about what you say, the fans, things like that. So I was very happy to come back. And again, shame, Graham Souness, 2 months, 3 months later, it was sacked again.
So to this point of the show that I usually tell people, you can see that Nobby's a bit of a grim reaper for managers.
And the black cat.
And the black cat. So Graham Souness goes, and it's now an appointment from within the club, isn't it?
Well, it was shame again. We have a good score. When I arrived in that time, Graham Souness already fight with Craig Bellamy. He fell out with a few players, so it wasn't the best time. It's a shame because everybody tried to get back into the team, into the club, to try to be again, to be in the top 4, things like that. Wasn't the best. The club a little bit mess again. Too many people in and out. So it's a shame. And Glenn Rode had to look after the team. He take it over, but already the dress room wasn't the best, and we ended to finish in the top 4.
He did well as a caretaker, but he gets the job permanently, and so often when that happens, it never quite works out. He did give Alan Shearer an opportunity to get involved in the coaching side of things. What was he like on the coaching side?
He was a wonderful person. He was great. It's a great opportunity for him to have it. But it's, again, many injuries, players, no good results. So it was quite tough, difficult. I remember used to be translate of him to look at Albert. You remember Albert, the Spanish guy? He only just fighting every day. He's called me to translate, but just only just swear in Spanish and in English.
Albert Luque.
Albert Luque.
Yeah. So no Glenn Roder, and it's the man who is apparently, according to him, better than Pep Guardiola, better than Eddie Howe. Big Sam Allardyce.
Oh my God. Next question, please.
Yeah. First of all, how many staff did he bring with him?
Oh my God. He brought even the bloody puppy. He brought everyone. 16 people in the staff. 16 people. Never saw in my life that. Well, it was quite arrogant at the time.
Still is.
Yeah. With the chewing gum all the time in the mouth. So. Well, he arrived in the club with so many people, so many ideas. He brought microphone and the speakers into the first time I see in my life some coach put the speakers around the pitch and start to manage, talking through the speakers. So it was quite different. Tried to do a lot of set pieces. We're working for an hour in set pieces. Looking for somebody can throw the ball so long, or can you reach 40 yards, 30 yards. Set pieces. I said, guys, you forgot we had to play for before the set pieces. You create the set pieces through the game, not to just do it straight away there. Well, the guy did different philosophy of football, like a big guys, big presence. So direct football. It's a shame. Well, I spoke to him and said, Sam, I'm part of your plans. You're right, you will consider it. Say, no, I'm not promised to you anything. You can go if you want. Thank you very much. So I went to West Ham that day. And unfortunately, that season, Newcastle, it's a shame, went down to relegation. No?
Very sad. From my perspective, I'm going to ask you one more question before the interval. What's it like to score the winning goal against Sunderland?
It's a pleasure.
Were you nervous?
Of course, my friend. If somebody tells you not having nervous, he's lying to you. We all humans, we have nervous. So I remember, yes, a game. It's a shame because Alan, bloody, I don't know, he left. He went off because he has an injury. I said, come on, Alan. So, and after 5 minutes later, the penalty has to take. Not always, I know the pleasure to win the derbies. The derby here is so special for the people in the Northeast. We knew how much people will come back home, will be happy to. Sunderland neighbor can tell you about that. So big responsibility, but I enjoy very much to score.
Great stuff.
I shit myself.
I bet you did. Ladies and gentlemen, that's the end of the first half. Put your hands together for Nobby Solano.